Okay, so I'm going to start recording. Um, record. Hi, it's Ileana, and today we have Amir with us again. Hi, Amir, how are you?
Very good. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to be with you. I want to extend my warmest greetings to our wonderful audience. I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you enjoy today's conversation and exploration.
I also look forward to today's conversation, and we are going to be covering the topic of psionics and what that is, how that works, and doing some channeling of some of my higher dimensional aspects, which we encountered when we were doing deep crystalline healing on me. And those aspects provided some very interesting insights that were helpful to Amir and me for the healing, plus for other things that were unexpected. So I think they're a good positive resource for channeling. And we have some questions that will be asked to them when Amir channels. But the first part will be the psionics. Amir, can you describe what psionics are and how their abilities work and how our abilities work? Because we might be considered psionics.
The human being is more than just the physical. There's overwhelming evidence towards this. And so, based on that premise, looking into the energetic structure of the mighty human, it goes far beyond the crown chakra and far beneath the root chakra. It's in the archetypical human, best way I can describe it is like a tree. So the tree of life is, in fact, the healthy, empowered human being. So above the head, we have the branches going from the soul star connecting to all domains where a shard of the infinite soul exists. And then beneath the feet, we've got the root system filling the entire planet and connecting to the grid. If all of this works, and if there are no injuries and no blockages, there is a constant flow of light, not photons in the physical and energetic sense, light codes, life force, light of the beloved divine and the soul, the infinite soul that flows in through the crown, through the body, and then is anchored into the planet. And so this is a flow of information, meaning that we have access to the wisdom of the infinite soul and all shards of that infinite soul in this body. And so when that process is working correctly, then we have access to many abilities like remote viewing, like telekinesis, like telepathy, like portal technology, and many other things, healing abilities, defensive and offensive capabilities. And then it must be noted that this is every human being's birthright. Now, um, some souls do the work, and so they manage to heal and open this path of life force at an earlier stage, and so they are born healthy and active. And some souls are attempting to do it in this lifetime. And so it's all the same process. There's really no great mystery regarding being psionic. It is just a sign of energetic strength, vitality, and health.
Because right now, there's disclosure in the mainstream and alternative media, like Jake Barber coming forward, that the government has had reverse engineering programs and aerospace companies where higher consciousness extraterrestrial crafts have been recovered and psionics, people with gifted abilities in the military or the aerospace contracting industry, perhaps, they were able to call the crafts down or connect with them consciously if those crafts are remote controlled, or if there's beings on the crafts that they could call them and bring them in. How much truth is there to that information, would you say?
Well, if a certain civilization is traveling through, let's say, vast distances, they're not going to traverse it through the first four dimensions. They will access it through higher dimensions, connecting points in space time together. So, by very definition, they will be multidimensional. And so, therefore, a quote unquote psionic, which has access to all aspects of their consciousness, would be able to connect with them in this way. So, essentially, nothing is hidden. Space and time are just illusions of physical reality. In fact, everything is freely observable, including thought processes. So, a civilization residing in the ninth dimension will have access to the thought processes and emotions and vital life force of all humanity and all life for that matter. And so, they may be also curious on observing the natural evolution of humanity. And so, when certain humans reach that level and access them through, let's say, the ninth dimension, they would absolutely respond out of interest. We're coming to that stage where more and more people are reaching that state of liberation and health and strength, pulling in sufficient life force from the infinite soul, and also pulling up enough energy from the planet. And so these go hand in hand. Earth and humanity have a symbiotic relationship. At earlier stages, earlier iterations of humanity, when the earth was still at a greater state of health and strength, by the time a human child would reach puberty, they would upload all their soul information connecting to the natural grids of the planet. That is actually occurring once again, thanks to all the wonderful people who've been doing grid work to great danger and to great cost of energy. They've been successful. So that is really the mechanism. We are all connected at one level or the other. We're just shedding the illusion and making contact.
Would you say it's like your soul energy is reaching out to another being and asking to talk telepathically and connect, that is the psionic ability, how that works?
That is correct. But let's look at levels of division, individual shards of the infinite soul that are anchoring the codes or the life or the flow of information from the infinite soul in physical reality are evolving. So the soul itself may be, in fact, multi universal, it may be cosmic. But then that shard coming into the human body is evolving all the way up through the scale of consciousness once again. That is a beautiful thing. So it's anchored into physical reality, but also has access to higher dimensions.
Mhm. So, for example, Jake's team, they've said they've contacted the extraterrestrials and the craft appear and it's recorded on video. So, how does that conscious contact happen? Like, how would you use telepathy or psionic ability to make that contact in a safe way that works and you know what the beings are and the craft are? How does that work? What are the mechanics of it, I guess?
So, like any other interaction, there needs to be something of value for both parties. And so, just because other beings are incarnated in different types of vessel, it doesn't exclude them from finding certain common things with us, like the joy of discovery. like the joy of observing successful evolution. Now, especially when you see, imagine you're observing a butterfly coming out of the chrysalis. That's magnificent. But while it's in the chrysalis, there's nothing going on. So, certain evolved civilizations are absolutely interested in interesting humans. So, if you're boring, if you're running on the treadmill in the matrix, doing a 9 to 5 job all day, every day, eating Cheetos and going to bed, you're not very interesting. By very definition, these psionics are demonstrating, in fact, beyond denial, the evolution of humanity, or let's say humanity reaching that state of consciousness once again. And so they are absolutely interested. So that would be their motivation. The motivation of humans, on the other hand, can be questioned. What is the motivation of these groups for contacting, let's say, non human intelligent beings? So I wouldn't be too concerned about, let's say, misappropriation of technology. They have access to multiple dimensions of reality. So if they think that something is stolen or misappropriated, they can take it back quite simply. So in this sort of scenario, it would be beneficial, like slowly but surely, drop by drop, filling the container and removing the illusion that we're the center of everything. Many people are already in the know. They know what the truth is. I think that would include most of our wonderful, enlightened audience.
Yeah, most people are like, how do you do C5? How do you do safe contact psionically or telepathically? Like, there's apps for it, and people gather and sit together and meditate and consciously reach out. But what are the ethics of it and the mechanics of it? How do you consciously reach out to a being and start talking? Is what's the basic protocol that everybody can walk away with and try out that we can maybe give them as a basic little starter?
So the C5, if I'm not mistaken, this is the approach of Dr. Stephen Greer.
Yes, contact
Yes,
protocols.
yes, yes, this works. And so the gentleman is very clear about his understanding towards a practical and functional approach. It's all about raising a signal above the baseline. Unfortunately, the baseline of humanity is zombie mode. Fear, aggression, greed, the very, very primal forces that animals also have. So,
Mhm.
demonstrating a concentration of something different that is very interesting. Imagine you're observing a culture of bacteria under the microscope. You're just zooming left and right, and suddenly you see something that stands out. That is the protocol. So, certain energies, and these are basically under our control. By definition, humanity is capable of um, emanating and holding any frequency. So, something that is of the nature of love, truth, sovereignty, bliss, and above, connecting directly to the beloved source of all things. That is very, very interesting. And so, with that energy, let's say sublime divine bliss and love, you can then send out a call. And so,
Mhm.
the procedure would also include helping them a little bit, thinking about our solar system, looking at a photograph of our galaxy, the planet, where we're located. Then, either, yeah, just shine a little laser in the sky, make it really easy. Usually it's successful. It's more successful than not. So more than 50% success. Now imagine that this is done in harmony in a group. The effect of this becomes significantly stronger. So having a group of people without fear, with pure intentions, embodying the energy of grace or love. and then sending out a call with their consciousness. Hey, come join the party. It usually is successful.
Hmm. And I just did a kind of like an experiment with a C5 several weeks ago. And I had my phone out and I went out there. I didn't use a laser pointer or anything. I just said, I want the Pleiadians to come in, please, the positive ones. And you also said positive intent for who you're inviting in, and you said in the protection. So you're not just having all the universe show up for the party, all the beings in the universe. It's like, come join us. We're having a meetup. Well, some meetups you invite, groups of people in, broad or smaller. It's same for this. I said, I just want to see a positive Pleiadian craft come in. And then I started, the sky was clear for like 20 minutes when I set that intent. And then I had raccoons come in for dinner. They came in to eat. So Larry the hairy raccoon came in first. So I said, hey, Larry. Hi there, Larry. That was a small distraction. And then I said, focus. I want to see a Pleiadian craft. And then the sky was so clear that I started seeing these points of golden light shooting up. It wouldn't show up on my camera, on my cell phone, but it was showing up in my eyes in the field. And the neighbor's house lit up. So I was seeing this, I think, through a consciousness
Yes,
perspective.
yes,
And I think they were semi-cloaked. So it was kind of like half cloaked, half uncloaked perspective because I could see them popping in and out. I could see it with my eyes, but it was so fast. It was like a minute and a half.
yeah. That's out of concern for their own safety,
Mm-hmm.
because Earth is heavily shielded and under strict control by species that I call the freaking pirates. Those that are involved in harnessing and harvesting humanity. By the way, I mentioned this with a additional piece of good news that the infrastructure of their presence is being eroded. And so we're moving now through a transition period where they shall no longer be able to coexist with us in the fashion that they have. But very much so, those that are not part of the pirate system they're in danger. So they may come in, blink into our consciousness for a short while, and then quickly exit. So crafts appearing for longer periods, I would imagine they are significantly more advanced than the pirate species, the pirate collective, meaning that they have evolved beyond the sixth dimension. Seventh and above, they don't need to fear the pirates. But then also, things always go wrong, no matter at what dimension you exist in. Accidents may happen, and then they've got to invest a lot of energy in cleanup. So it's Earth is still a rough neighborhood, and so they do have concerns for their own well-being, but in the form of appearing, responding. I think that if our wonderful audience do actually try this, they will be successful. Um, I think the best time would be pre-dawn. Most people are sleeping. It's kind of energetically lighter with people in the astral dreaming away. So that would be a good time to try and do this.
I did it at like 9, 10 p.m. People were in their houses, though. It was the twinkle lights were on everywhere, but it didn't interfere with what was happening in the sky. So it's like nighttime seems to be also when this happens a lot.
Yes,
Because people are in their homes doing their stuff. They don't really, oh, what's that person standing out there getting some fresh air in their background, in their backyard? They don't really look in the background of the backyard so much, the neighbors. they're doing their thing, focusing on life. So for me, I was just, in my backyard, mentally telepathically calling in the Pleiadian craft, and I said positive Pleiadians. I didn't want to have a conversation. I just wanted a sighting. So I specifically asked for that. And it was brief. And it's like some people would say, well, nothing really happened because it was so brief and you didn't photograph anything and you didn't get anything on video. Like how can you quantify that experience because you don't have any physical proof of it? Well, I
Yes,
mean, it is an experience.
that is correct. So this is a very, very intimate and personal type of interaction or encounter. So as long as you know beyond a doubt, that is all that is really needed. So
Hmm.
these conscious beings popping in and out of reality is really good. But then sometimes you can ask for something that is conclusive. For example, sending the message that I want you to appear and then change direction sharply. They understand the reasoning behind it, and then you get them doing somersaults in the sky. More appear. They do more somersaults, and poof, they're gone before they raise the alarm.
Hmm.
That would be something to consider. They do respond. If they've taken the time to appear and communicate, that would be a small favor. And it seems they do take pleasure in observing the joy they create. Once you see them doing it personally, I lose my mind. I start dancing up and down, and oh my God, thank you. And I get that sort of reciprocal message. You're welcome. And yes, the energy is seen, the energy is heard. It is not subtle, it is felt by the whole universe. It's, people have no idea how powerful they are. That although there's a small shard of the soul anchored in these fragile, tiny bodies, the effect of what they're doing down here is monumental.
Hmm. Well, they lit up the neighbor's house with golden light. It was a golden Pleiadian ship. And that was like a minute and a half. So that was kind of my, I guess, signal like, hey,
Yep,
yeah, we
yep,
showed up for you. We lit it up and you saw it was like mist. And I was able to go into Blender and just render the scenes of exactly step by step how the whole encounter happened. And I think that's good enough for me. I don't need, my cell phone can't take high resolution video anyway, too close up. Everybody wants sharp video of the crafts. It's like where's the proof? Where's the validity, the verification of it? Everybody wants to see something so physical in video and photos.
yes.
And it's like the evidence because everybody keeps talking about the phenomenon, about the psionics, about the C5, the contacts, but where's the proof? The proof is in your own experience of what you experienced.
I completely agree. It's not like this is something reserved for a small cast of humanity. You're completely correct. The proof is in the pudding, meaning that people can freely go through the protocol and get their own experience. And so once you get the feedback through what you observe, then you don't need anybody else to validate you. So, very much so, this is a personal thing.
Hmm. And I don't mind sharing my experience. I don't have anything to hide. It was done openly in my backyard, at night, clear sky, no light pollution, no light interference. It wasn't a plane, it wasn't a helicopter, the craft was soundless. It just went
Mhm.
materialized, hung out for a minute and a half, and then dematerialized again. And I had the memory of the experience and I remembered it per sequence of how everything happened. And I just shared that with the world. And that's enough for me as my honest truth.
Correct, correct. And so this is something that can be validated through the scientific method. One of the conditions is that an experiment be repeatable
Hmm.
and be independent of who is conducting it. And so others going through the same procedure will get similar results. That's the validation of the whole thing. Uh,
Yeah. And I mean, what you can do if you're doing scientific experiment, the proof is asked. You have a video camera, mirrorless camera, or some kind of advanced equipment that can actually capture 4D video and images. Like in that kind of an experiment, you would have to record it somehow because
oh,
it's a scientific experiment.
I believe there are certain cameras that record beyond the visual spectrum.
Hmm.
So these are used, for example, infrared is used very widely in night vision, but including the ultraviolet, a little bit above and below the visual spectrum, people record incredible things. This has been known for quite a while, and I think these are pretty much available. They're not out of reach, although because they are not very common, they would be more expensive than regular cameras.
Hmm. In the range of 4,000, 5,000, and you have to have the tripod and you have to have the long lens reach as well. So it's not just the camera you're investing in because that's just the body, and it might not have the mirrors or it might have different refraction because it's infrared to capture that spectrum of high HD video like 4K in infrared or ultraviolet or violet. And it's on a tripod, so and it has a big lens as well. And it's pointed toward the sky. And it's set to record, and you set up all the equipment and the intention. And it's good to have multiple cameras like that recording the same event because that's three, four people recording the same thing as proof that was a reproducible experiment. Science experiment is about reproduction, like you said. Can you reproduce the same phenomena, the same sequence of actions and events in a recorded fashion as gathering data? And that's what Jake Barber and his Skywatcher team are trying to do with the psionics, to call in the crafts,
Yep,
record the whole thing and put it out scientifically. That's what they're in the
amazing.
process of doing.
Yep, that's really amazing. And so I wish the gentleman and his wonderful team the greatest success. That would probably then push more people to try themselves, right?
Mhm.
Setting up the intentions and just waiting a little while and get their own feedback and their own evidence. And you see, certain events in life will change the trajectory of the rest of your lifetime. Certain things cannot be unseen. It's like profound spiritual experiences. Now, this one is something profound, but through the mechanism of the body. So it's more down to earth. So, therefore, more accessible to more people. The objective of such types of experimentation is really breaking belief systems. If a certain individual already believes that the human being is more than just the physical, they've got a head start. So they don't require certain types of evidence anymore. They already know. Uh, and so this is not a matter of belief, it is a matter of knowing. So whatever helps people basically correct their belief systems towards something that is true, true as in scientifically verifiable. That is a good thing.
Yeah, and some people want to do documentaries about what are psionics and go on a journey to do CE5s and discover what is the psionic? What is all of that about? It's about you working with your energy. It's about you opening up a frequency in the brain, the mind, and the soul and connecting to anything literally. It could be the stars, the universe, because that's alive and that's sentient and that talks back to us, uploads, downloads, or the higher consciousness extraterrestrial beings, or your cat or your mom or the neighbor next door, telepathic communication. It's all part of psionic talk, talking to your body. That is all psionic work. It's the psi. It's like the Jedi raising their energy, and working on their craft,
Yes,
advancing their abilities. The more you do it, the more you're connected to everything and you're plugged in.
yes, yes. And so um, many major projects, they start with the wrong premise, focusing on obtaining or having technology. The truth is we are the technology. So the uh, structure of the human body, physical and energetic, is capable of multidimensional travel. Some are capable of being in more than one, two, or 10 places at one go. So the path towards this would be um, getting to that state where the body and energy structure is healthy, where there are no blockages. The rest happens naturally. Now, we're living in a world that is polluted. We are born into bodies that inherit many genetic, uh, basically, distortions from our maternal and paternal side. Then, of course, there are karmic issues that bind us quite literally. There are injuries to the soul shard or the light body. Although we go through many incarnations, these injuries come forward with us, although we don't remember in the conscious mind that is impossible. So, any type of energetic healing or cleansing that removes these blockages, heals the injury, and restores the flow, that is the way forward.
Yes, and I found even when I'm at my worst in terms of pain,
Mhm.
physical pain and stuff, the mind is so plugged in, it can go anywhere and do anything because it is beyond just a physical body.
Yeah.
So perception is your soul is the healthiest. Even if your body is not the healthiest, you can do anything you put your mind to. Intention, soul energy, vibration is beyond a sick body. Honestly, to me, it's like somebody could be tired, in pain, and consciously reach out to ETs and they'll show up. They'll show up to the party and they'll have a good time with you because it's a blessed connection.
That is
If
true.
somebody wants to come, they'll come no matter how you're feeling. If you have a positive intent, you can reach out consciously. It's not about being your most healthiest, your most top level, your best. It's about having a pure intention. Because
Agreed.
life, we go through stages of life where there's ups and downs. But if you put your mind to it, you can always do whatever you want to achieve beyond the limitation of physicality. That is the consciousness of the soul gift.
That is absolutely correct. The body is the physical body would be like a pen,
Hmm.
and the soul shard or the light body is the hand that wields it. If the pen goes dry, you can pick up another. That's the
Hmm.
process of reincarnation. So this that wields it is infinite and eternal. And so it's always useful to have the pen. There's great utility to this, but it is not everything. And so
Hmm.
therefore, it's important to know that there's this continuity and basically going through one body to the next is very, very frequent. We're down here by choice, and the reason for being here is learning how to write beautifully, going through experience of hardship, trauma, pain, suffering, injustice, and rising above it.
Hmm. Exactly. I mean, I'll give you an example. I've just had two teeth pulled like just a week and a half ago, so I'm all sewn up in my mouth, literally. But I can talk. People have said amazing, like how through all that pain, how are you able to overcome that and still be plugged in and do the work? Because I'm continuing to do all kinds of psionic stuff. I'm like, I don't let anything get me down. Teeth, hernia surgery, whatever. It's just the physical part of the body healing. My mind still goes out and does what it usually does. I can't stop it. Even if I'm at my sickest, I'm out there doing this stuff. I can't stop because it's just on. It is still wanting to do what I usually do, no matter how I feel. So it's just a choice of looking at the positive and doing what feels right to do.
That is beautiful. It's overcoming shortcomings of the body and base nature,
Hmm.
not just pain, but the very existence of our emotions and instincts. It is very much so a choice to establish harmony.
Yeah.
The pain is there. We know it's there. We feel it.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
yet we choose not to be ruled by it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with other things, you may feel emotions of fear or anger. We honor them. They're always in their rightful place, but we do not act or decide or live by them. Other faculties come in, and so that's basically a sign of refinement.
Yeah, I had half a tooth cut off because one of the teeth is so close to the nerve. So it literally sewn up in a pocket. My mouth feels sewn up. And there's literally pieces of bone sticking out in that area because the bone is shifting and adjusting. So I'll have to have that bone shaved off. You
Mhm.
know, it's bone spurs, protrusions. Because when you get tooth surgery, sometimes they have to cut into your bone and remove bits to get to the tooth. And then they sew you up. And later, once everything is healed, you have to get an adjustment for it not to stick out of your mouth. So I have to be patient. And I'm like, it's super uncomfortable, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. It's not an existential crisis, let's just say. Um, at first I thought, oh my God, how am I going to get around this? And then I said, calm down. It's okay. It's just a physical feeling. It's not a permanent thing I have to have.
Yes.
It's my decision to have it trimmed when the timing is correct, when everything is healed. And it's very close to the tongue because it's the gums, it's the lower gums. But I said, you know what? It's just a physical aspect of sometimes things go a little different than you imagined. It's a little complicated and a challenge, but it's nothing that I cannot figure out what to do with.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thinking
Yes.
on what's on the other side. Like, what is the proactive solution? All right, 2 months from now, when the bone settles and it stops popping out of your gums, it's the strangest sensation when there's bone literally um, burrowing itself out of your gum. But that's typical after certain tooth surgery. So it's like it's not uncommon. It's just a weird world in your mouth. It's a new environment. It's a new sensation. Like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Log it, let the oral surgeon know, and be insistent. And I was told, oh, that's actually smooth. It's fine. I'm like, no, it's not smooth. It's sticking out. They're like, okay, well, we'll address it down the road when the healing is done. And he said this, you have to let the natural healing do its work because the body will do the healing. Then we can trim the excess that doesn't need to be there. And yeah, that's smart. Let it go.
Yes, the body does the healing. That is so true. That is the case for every single type of healing. No matter what the nature of the injury is, the body heals. And no matter how the process of healing is kickstarted, whether it's through a pill or through, let's say, radiation or through touch or through energy, again, it is the body that does the healing.
Yeah, I don't believe in pills. I don't believe in needing radiation. I believe in nature doing its work and working at it with your mind and the body connection to give you patience and strength. Sometimes that's all you really need to wait until the job is done. In some cases, like mine, because it can't get rid of the bone right now. I don't have the dental tools to shave it. That's not my job. That's the oral surgeon's job. My job is to say, this is what I feel, this is what's going on. Be insistent. I want to book the procedure down the line and have this removed when it's safe to do so, and stay firmly to that task, even if he says, well, it's not really an issue, just live with it. I don't want to live with it. So my choice is to get it taken care of as time allows because I'm firm and insistent. And when navigating the human realm, you must be an advocate for yourself so you're not ignored and your wishes are heard and understood. That's verbal communication, telepathic communication, free will choice communication, I think. It's the
Yes,
responsible thing to do.
yes. And the number one rule would be self-love, not
Mm-hmm.
compromising on the well-being, on the dignity and sovereignty of the self. This is very important. It's the theme of life plans or journeys for many souls. Just to learn this one thing, there's always the temptation to overgive to the point of sacrifice, and people neglect that they are worthy of that love first and foremost. And something else, kind of on the sidelines, but worth mentioning, that the body has a certain capacity to heal and restore. And once things
Mm-hmm.
go beyond it, then things may become irreversible. So, say, for example, leaving something right to the stage where it becomes life threatening. And so, a good example is looking at the way modern medicine is able to treat cancer successfully in early stages.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if this is left and it metastasizes and just grows out of hand, then there's not much that can be done by any method. So, this process of self love and self care must be ongoing. We shouldn't neglect things for long periods of time and then wondering why nothing works. That's
Mm-hmm.
the body has just been overwhelmed. And again, the other thing is that we're not meant to be immortal in these vessels. It's
Mm-hmm.
all about quality of life, not just the length of our life. And so, again, thinking about doing this procedure and getting it done correctly right to the end, that is going to give you quality of life. So, I
Mm-hmm.
wholeheartedly agree with this. I think it would be the right thing to do.
I don't just let things go and leave it be that I know need to be corrected and fixed, even with, okay, somebody misses the cancer. Sometimes things are missed. Nothing is perfect. Even modern medicine has its
Yes, very true.
gaps. Sometimes you miss cancer. even if somebody has cancer, honestly, the soul is eternal. This is just a physical body expression. The soul itself does not die. So even if it's terminal cancer, it cannot be cured. Try natural modalities to see if something that it looks like it's irreversible can be reversed. And if it helps you improve the quality of life, great with whatever the earth tools are there. But again, even for example, if it was, I hope it's never me, but if I heard that I was diagnosed with a terminal illness that's non-curable, cancer or whatever it is, that would not freak me out. I would say, okay, that's just a physical expression of something. Um, but it's a gift and it's a journey and it's a process. I know that's weird saying that would be a gift, but for me, it wouldn't be a problem. I wouldn't look at it as a death sentence. It's just another way of ascension out of the human body.
Yes.
Is everything has a purpose for why it happens and a reason. It might sound awful if somebody is diagnosed with terminal, uncurable cancer, but I wouldn't look at it as I'm locked in and I'm going to die and it's going to be painful and horrible. I'm like, all right, okay, well, that's the next
Yes.
evolution. The soul is out of the body. What's the next highest thing of what the soul can be? It doesn't have to be a physical reincarnation again in a 3D body. It could be a higher, incarnation in something better, like a light body or a Q body, where you can have physical corporeal form and non-corporeal form and switch back and forth and, get around in the universe energetically.
Yes. Yes.
It's free soul travel. You're the you're the driver, you're the rudder of the ship with your consciousness. And you can avoid all the soul traps, going into the light on the other side. I see my mom, my dad, my cat, my this, my that. Is that really what you're seeing, or is it the pirates showing you a trick?
Oh,
The
yes.
heavenly light. It's like, what are you walking into? See beyond the projection. Maybe it's a soul trap, maybe it's real family, but use your God given ability of psionics to determine, is that real or not? What are you being shown? Or what you call going over the life review, where all the masters show up and say, well, maybe you could have done that better. Maybe you could have, do you want to go back in 3D and repeat that? And you can say, well, I think I did fine. I don't want to, or I don't want my life review. I'll just steer my ship where it needs to go and I'll choose what I want to be on the other side. That's you using free will choice to decide what and who you want to be on the other side without anybody else influencing you for good or bad. Whatever choices you make, they're yours in the afterlife as well. How you end up in the next iteration of whatever you want to be. I mean, that's the easiest lesson to say, well, if you don't want others making choices for you, make your own choices wisely so you don't get recycled back on Earth. What do you want? Do you want to come back to Earth or do you want to go higher dimensionally? Choice. And it's the
Absolutely.
ability of the psionic ability of the soul seeing what's the truth and what's not the truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Discernment in body or out of body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it goes for life too. Anything we navigate through right now, and it can be tricky with all the things kind of popping out. Challenges are given to us for us to see how we react and navigate and how wisely we choose. Or if we chose unwisely, can we correct the course and regroup? Because nothing is limited. Anything can change. You can change your reality. You're not locked into anything.
Yes. Yes. And through um, um, shamanic practice, I know this to be a fact, that things can be changed back in time, forward in time, in other timelines. It's all a continuum. And so the consciousness is, and everything
Mhm.
else exists at the same time. And it is within reach of all humanity. Nobody is exempt or left out. And so, therefore, this whole process of forced reincarnation, very much so, is a con, is a
Mhm.
trap. We don't need to come back in human form if we don't wish to.
Yeah. And I'm not heartless when I say if somebody gets a cancer diagnosis to just say, you know what, it's the greatest thing in the world. I now can move on and ascend. Everybody's different how they react. If it was me, I would say, great, I get to experience the next iteration of something beyond my physical body. That's just my reaction, how I would react, because I'm not worried about how long I live, how much I have time here or not. It's not my main concern. While I'm here, I experience and do the best that I want for what I want to experience. I'm not concerned when my body expires or how it expires or
Yes,
mm, mm, my desire is to not suffer and not prolong suffering and not suffer like needlessly, that's always my priority. Um, if you're gonna go, you're gonna go. Enjoy what you have, live your life, and count the blessings of what you have today, because tomorrow is not really guaranteed,
that
on
is
earth at
absolutely
least.
true. Yes. Now, um, going through the Akashic records of an individual, it seems that the moment of death is something that is almost never remembered. It seems to be kind of the bottom of the list of important things. The stuff that people really hold on to are moments of profound discovery, uh, deep, truthful love, excitement, going through rites of passage and evolution. So
Hmm.
that's really the purpose, the same way that the moments of birth and infancy are kind of really not relevant if they are in health and in good shape. Now, the same way this is true for the moments of weakness and passing. They're not really that important. While we are in a condition where the body, the mind, and the spirit are working in harmony and they are functional, we need to just continuously improve ourselves. And so it is not a race, it's not a competition. It's just every day we try to do something a little better, become a
Hmm.
little more aware, more capable, more wise, more knowledgeable, more loving.
Mm. But some people are sad or afraid of death, and they're like, oh my gosh, this must be some kind of a punishment.
Mhm.
It's not a punishment, it's just earth stuff that happens in a physical body, in a physical world. Sometimes things are out of our control, even if we pre-planned things a certain way when we come to this world and the plan changed, something went differently, and we got sick and we pass away. It's not something to blame ourselves for. It's not something we attract or wish for. Sometimes random things happen to good people. Bad things happen, and it's not a punishment. And wondering why me? Like, why? Just work your way through it to the best of your ability and not punish yourself for
Yes. So,
stuff like that.
towards this, towards relieving the suffering, because the suffering comes from misinformation
Mm-hmm.
or misunderstanding. People think that the purging or shedding the human body is equal to loss. Now, that is not true.
No.
Something that would give them immense calmness and certainty would be coming to the realization of this fact. Certain things like past life regressions or going through maybe whatever method that would be, whether it's something like QHHT, Dolores Cannon's approach, or through a shamanic healing, um, remembering, oh, yes, I was in this other body that lifetime, I did this and this and this. Then there's that certainty that there's a continuation of consciousness. So the beloved self is immortal.
Hmm.
And this is also true from other beloved people around us, that they are also continuous. There is no loss. There's
Hmm.
just cycles of transformation.
Hmm. Exactly. And going back a bit to the psionic stuff, if anybody wants to become psionic or activate their psychic abilities or explore that, how can they safely start doing that?
Well, thank you for that question. I have been searching for the best answer since the age of 4, and I have dedicated myself to many different forms of spirituality, magic, and religion also. Uh, it seems that there is much distortion and misinformation present. For what it is worth at this moment of now, we are working with a certain amount of willpower. And so it is all about exertion of willpower towards healing, towards breaking contracts that do not serve, for disentanglement from that which is draining our energy, which is not equal in exchange, which is not loving, and towards connecting to home. And home is the beloved, beloved source of all things. There are many ways to do this. Once the intention is clear and the effort or energy is put in, victory is guaranteed. So there may be many people across the world in different cultures, in different time periods, who achieve this very same thing through different approaches. One approach that has worked for me, it's kind of the maximum effort approach, is going through a system of meditation. So certain phrases of power are repeated thousands of times. I see truth. I use things correctly. I overcome shortcomings. I am responsible. I take responsibility. I see
Mhm.
things consciously. I understand truth. I am free. I am a creator being. And then that I am an aspect of the beloved source of all things in this body. These affirmations, when repeated, seep beyond the conscious mind into the subconscious, unconscious, and energetic layers. And slowly but surely, anything that does not serve is eroded. The objective is going back to that state of perfect physical and energetic health, where we have a flow of information from the soul coming in, being anchored into the planet, and also pulling up the wisdom of our host and mother, Gaia, through the body, and then connecting that to the divine realm.
Mm.
This is a very real thing. It's a modality called the Kujikiri. I do teach this. Teaching it is very easy, and completing it is very difficult. It takes a lot of time and energy and concentration, but the good thing is it is guaranteed to work. It's irrefutable. Anybody who completes it will achieve that liberation and evolution that they seek. So it's just the process of exerting your sovereign willpower over and over and over and not taking no for an answer. The
Yeah.
example with the little shard of tooth that you were speaking about, you're exerting your sovereignty and willpower over and over and over and not taking no for an answer, whether it's the doctor, the surgeon, whether it's one of the frickin' pirates, whether it's some other unknown condition. Nothing, it doesn't have to be in the conscious mind. Maybe it's affecting you. It's
Well,
just
it's
saying,
uncomfortable. My tongue is lacerated by the bone shard, but you know what? It's a temporary feeling, it's a temporary state of existence. I know I don't have to live like that. There is risk removing that bone. He said, you might lose taste, you might lose sensation, your tongue might work differently. And I'm like, none of that scares me because that bone is protruding out of my gum, and that is not good either. If he uses safety and precaution and just puts a tongue blocker under my tongue or moves my tongue, anything can be adjusted in the human body. It's good that he told me what the risks are. This guy's a straight shooter, and I appreciate him telling me the truth.
yes,
Um, he tells it like it is. He tells the truth, which I like. I can appreciate honesty. That to me is valuable. I'm not worried about the risks because leaving something sharp in your mouth is also not good. It's not comfortable. It's going to be hard to chew like that.
you know, Ileana, this is a perfect analogy for the human condition, that
Hmm.
over multiple lifetimes we have been afflicted by so much trauma, so many injuries, so many entanglements, and of course, it is not a comfortable and positive and enjoyable thing. And so, with the cost of going through another procedure, you are liberating yourself. This is the only way. This is true for spiritual enlightenment and the activation, or let's say, re emergence of psionic gifts. And so, this level of damage that the soul shard or the energy body is covered with, this doesn't happen overnight. And so, therefore,
No.
healing and liberation is not a switch that you flip and you're done with it. It takes time to undo what has been done.
Yeah, and it's also proactive choice. I see the oral surgeon on Tuesday for a follow-up just to see how everything is healing. And I'm going to book the procedure because the healing is 1 to 2 months to see how much the bone goes to the surface, how much the bone shards
Mhm.
pop up. So you have to wait for the bone to settle.
Yes.
And I did my own research reading about it because he didn't really tell me. He said everything needs to heal, but it's like, oh, the bone keeps moving and shifting, so more of it might just come to the surface of the gum. So I
Mhm.
went and did my research. I understand why I have to wait for the procedure because if you do it now, more bone might come up, then you have to do it over and over again. Why would you have to shave your bones off excess bits more than once? Like nobody wants to go through that suffering. So I get the why and patience, but I'm going to book the procedure so that it's timely booked in there to be done because these doctors are busy. They work on other people. So the longer you wait to book it, the
The
longer it's
longer
going
it
to be.
comes.
So I'm not going to wait to book
Yes.
it. I'm going to book it and it'll be there for me to be done when it needs to be on a timely schedule.
Yes.
So I'm not worried about anything. And if I want a second opinion on that or anything else that was done as procedure, I can go to somebody else and get a second opinion too.
Yes.
Free will choice allows us to decide what we want to do in this life because we have control. It's not the government, it's not the external system, it's we who are in control of these bodies.
Yes.
People need to know more of that information.
That is spot on. And so, mm, I must be forthcoming and honest. that this process of healing and liberation is not easy.
Hmm.
Imagine that there are cuffs or chains on the hands and feet, and once you remove them, the body still needs to go through a healing process. So when you take them off,
Hmm.
they're most painful. But
Yes.
that is a sacred pain. It is the pain of healing and liberation. Sometimes people think, if I go and do a weekend course with such and such master, that's it, I'm done. No, no, that is false. It
Hmm.
really takes that exertion of your will to a sufficient degree to see any meaningful progress. And so certain
Oh, yeah.
abilities coming from a state of dormancy, going towards a state of full activation, it takes enormous effort. There is no easy way that you just do this ritual and it's done. No, that doesn't work. Usually it backfires. So
Yeah.
the law is nobody will carry you. Nobody will carry you up the mountain. Nobody will save you. If you are very fortunate, you will come across those that will give you truthful information, and then it is upon you. And so,
Hmm.
as we work on ourselves, invest in ourselves, it becomes better. We become stronger. Our discernment becomes greater. And so,
Hmm.
slowly but surely, these gifts come to the surface, including remote viewing, including telepathy, telekinesis, portal work, offensive, defensive mechanisms, creation, uncreation, going back and forwards in time, all the wonderful stuff that people wish to activate. It does take effort. Now, the good thing is, once you reach that state, it is yours. So
Hmm.
again, these injuries and overlays, they do not occur overnight or within one lifetime for that matter. Once you reach a certain level of evolution, that is permanent.
Well, and nothing has to be permanent in the physical body. Things can
Oh,
be
yes, yes,
changed.
yes.
There's procedures, there's opportunities. I see it as, you know what? If I'm unhappy with something, I'm going to work on it to make myself super happy in the physical so I'm comfortable. I don't suffer fools lightly. I don't, people can tell me, oh, you should do this or that. I'm going to still do what I need to do for my own comfort, free will choice. I'll take recommendations, but at the end of the day, if something needs to be fixed, I'll get it fixed, whatever way I have to. If I have to climb 10 mountains, I will get done what I need done.
Yes,
I
yes,
don't do the slow crawl snail walk on earth. I book my appointments, I motor through, get on with it and not suffer pain or through it. And it's temporary. It's different. But it's not something that's gonna stop me from exploring and working on what I want. I just go for what I want.
yes, yes, indeed.
Manifest your reality, and your
Yes,
reality comes towards you. No matter what the pain, the suffering is, overcome the overcomable because it's not a
absolutely.
limit on you.
That's, in fact, that is the height of being human. It's about taking responsibility, not being a victim. Many
Hmm.
are stuck in that type of distortion, blaming everyone and everything, from the land they are born in, to their parents, to the government, to God, and but never themselves. And there may be so many things in the quote unquote outside world that are not agreeable, but we acknowledge that we're in the driver's seat and we have the ability to change it and improve it.
Oh yeah, exactly. So I think from the psionic perspective is work with the energy, do all the learning, go choose a path of what you want to learn, channeling, you want to learn telepathy, psychic ability, take the psychic courses with the good teacher, trust your intuition to be guided to your good teachers. Try to learn on your own too to discover. There's so many resources out on the internet. People contribute guides, people write books with this stuff, teaching it. Use your intuition to find the right material that teaches you or the right teacher and choose what you want to learn because psionics is a multiple aspects. It's telepathy, it's higher consciousness communication with yourself, your higher self, other beings, animals. Psionic is not just one thing, it's many
Yes.
aspects of the psi. Channeling, remote viewing, Akashic Records reading, psychic readings, telepathic communication, energetic communication, soul travel, astral projection. That's all psi and psionics
Yes.
in different aspects of the abilities and the tools. Tarot card reading, that's
Yeah.
also psionic.
Yeah. And so,
Talking to the dead or the other side, that's psionic ability.
so um, if I may just
Mhm.
humbly present my understanding of the whole thing,
Yes, please.
it is becoming the perfect vessel for divine consciousness, um, being in physical reality.
Mhm.
And so the objective is returning home, removing all barriers, distortions, false beliefs, injuries, whatever there may be in that path of realization of this, that we do have an aspect that is the beloved source of all things. That is where we all come from. And
Mhm.
then removing those levels of distortion from any level, including the beliefs, including creation itself, from being in our way. Once that path is open, it can be strengthened. Through
Mhm.
that, it is that we are able to uh, utilize, activate, and bring to full power all of these gifts. So that is the way. And so we know the destination. Destination is home. Of
Mhm.
course, there may be many, many different roads home. Now, for our wonderful audience, I would like to refer them to the Grand Master, from whom I learned the Kujikiri. The gentleman is called Maha Vajra. He's got a YouTube channel. He's authored many books. So, in addition to the Kujikiri, he has seminars on different aspects of Buddhism, elemental magic, force combat. He's the real deal. So if you want to do this independently, I welcome this. See that attainment and achievement in sovereignty and independence is everything. So that's one way to
Exactly.
go. And if they want to save some time, I can help them. But there are many ways. So again, a devout Christian who lives clean and praises the beloved source reaches that level. Same for a Muslim or a Jew or a Buddhist. See, there are so many ways. There's not one right solution for everybody.
Or just a person who's spiritual and
You got it. You got
walks
it.
the spiritual path. You don't have to be a denomination, a religious affiliate of anything. You just can be yourself and the soul explores. As long as you put the hard work into it, you can become psionic. You can activate ability. Um, but it takes time and work. It took me
Agree.
10 years to get to where I am now.
Spot on. Spot on, Ileana. That is true for me also. So you may have little sparks here and there, but it needs to be refined.
Yes.
And so this takes work. There's no
Mhm.
way out of that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Learn knowledge. Knowledge is power. The purest knowledge of downloads and uploads, self-learning, working with wise teachers, and ask to manifest good teachers to come to you and to meet good teachers to connect. That is how I met all my teachers through that manifestation. I put the call out to meet the specific teachers at specific times to learn specific things and aspects of psionic stuff. So I learned white light magic. I learned shamanism, Native American shamanism. I took psychic development. I learned Akashic readings on my own, how to activate that. I did that on my own. I did take remote viewing courses, but then I spent a lot of time refining remote viewing ability and techniques. Spent a lot of time on my own on that too. Did tarot. I did all kinds of um, things to get to where I am now. Plus, I expanded my own abilities, energy healing, Reiki. I took that to crystal healing, but then I learned quantum healing through the Arcturians, the positive Arcturians. Every time I go out and I seek to learn what I want to learn with whom or on my own, I'm I'm a huge believer in self-learning because that too can work. There's so many paths you can take and explore, or
Absolutely.
both at the
That is
same
spot
time.
on. I wholeheartedly agree. This is one of the laws of this universe, which has been excluded from the Hermetic laws. Let's unexclude it. Let's bring it back. It's the
Mhm.
law of liberty that when you reach to the light, it will reach back. And that is the
Mhm.
law. And
Yes.
so I also mirror your experiences. So when you set out the call for a teacher of wisdom and integrity to appear, that is exactly what happens. They're not always in human form. So there's no shortage of truthful and powerful information out there. There is an absolute independence from the need for any teacher or guru or path or modality. See, these can become distortions in their own right. Sometimes, in fact, unfortunately, this is the case that many so called spiritual teachers become parasitic. This is also true for massive organizations. They turn into awful cults. And so, before they give the seeker a droplet of so called wisdom, they make them run on the hamster wheel for years. This is
Mhm.
not necessary. We have all we need.
Yeah, I also learned channeling on my own. Honestly, it was natural, it came naturally, but then I researched techniques, methodologies, I read books. I was taught hypnosis by my shamanism teacher in soul retrieval, but then I went and I refined and advanced those techniques with my own special add-ons to it and made it even more than I was taught. Because I wasn't afraid to explore out on my own and self-teach and self-learn. I always play with different methods of learning and teaching because for me, my soul loves that kind of um,
Yes,
a learning style on its own to explore and play on its own in soul development. So I'm a proponent of that. And I think as long as you're not afraid and you're willing to do the work, you can do it.
that is spot on. I couldn't put it better myself. Well said. I completely agree.
Because there's no limits. Even if you think there is, there's not. That's just the mind and a belief system. You step over that and anything is possible.
So we know the source of our status. We are incarnated in human bodies at a certain level of flow with a certain amount of willpower. We know
Mhm.
the destination. It is returning home, knowing that in fact we are the beloved source of all things, and we wish to be the resistance free, optimal vessel or channel for this divine energy and consciousness.
Mhm.
What will fuel your journey is fearlessness and dedication. So we know the source, we know where we're going, and we know what is going to fuel your journey, what is going to
And
sustain you through it.
persistence and hard work.
Persistence. Yes, yes. I think that's pretty
Mm,
beautiful.
yeah. Oh, it is. It's part of all kinds of work, psionic, non-psionic, anything that can be applied to anything in life and reality.
Beautiful. So, wonderful audience, esteemed ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us. Um, I most certainly enjoyed very thoroughly this conversation. It is truthful and it's coming from a place of love. It's coming from the heart. May it find its way to your heart. And I hope that you found this beneficial. We're going to have hopefully many more interesting conversations like this next week. Same place, same time.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna do a channeling next week to show folks how you connect to other beings and how you have an experience, a profound experience with questions that both Amir and I put together, and I think it will be a fantastic second part experience to this. So thank you so much, Amir.
Thank you,
Blessings.
Ileana. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure and an honor. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.
And enjoy the rest of your beautiful evening. Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. All the very best to you. Take care. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.